ready? Yes.
Maya? Okay.
I'm here.
Okay. In 5, 4, 3, 2.
Oh my God, you made it. It's the 10th episode of We Did That Shit.
I'm Maya.
And I'm the B.
Hey.
Hey, Maya. We in the double digits.
Double digits. Whoop, whoop.
Shit.
We really made it to 10 podcasts. I can't even imagine what the celebration is going to be like when we make it to 50.
That's why I'm laughing, because we celebrate everything.
Seriously.
I don't care
It's the first episode. It's the 10th episode. Whoop, whoop. Yeah, we have to. We have to celebrate every single thing.
Oh,
A, it keeps us enthused. And B, it's something to celebrate.
No, I'm just talking about, like, we literally celebrate everything, like, not even just the podcast, like, everything. Like, remember, like, climbing Table Mountain, getting into your car. Right. Just,
you broke your tooth.
I
want to have a party,
survived.
bring some food
right.
over,
Like,
get some
I don't
drink.
care.
I mean, that's our thing.
Everything is a celebration. Oh,
girl,
my goodness.
So did this. You want to have a party? Sure. Anything to have the party, especially to eat.
Anything for a party and a good time. I'm telling you, I think that's why we just say, oh, my God, you made it. Like, you made it. Yes.
Right.
It's a celebration. Yo, we literally celebrate everything in life. Like, every
you
little
have
thing.
to. Life is so hard. You have to really celebrate everything, whether it be big or small. Don't just wait for, like, I graduated or, I'm getting married. No, you have to just celebrate, like, girl, I went to the car wash today. My car was dirty as hell. You want to get together tonight? Sure. Okay. It's a celebration. You got to celebrate small things and big things.
Everything.
So how was your week?
Let's see. Well, my mom had a birthday this week.
Oh, happy birthday on that.
Yeah, it was a good reflection week. I had a good day on her birthday. I wasn't, I talked to my brothers and sisters, and, we laugh about all the stuff that she used to do and say.
Oh, my goodness.
And, Deja acts like she remembers so much. But I'm glad she has memories. She was young.
Right.
Yes, but, and I came, somebody sent me some pictures, and she was, like, one of the pictures I know was in 1971 because Tisha was an infant. And she was just so pretty, like she was just so pretty. So I made copies. I got like maybe about almost 20 pictures, and I made copies for all my siblings and gave them to them for her birthday. Yeah, so I had a good week, and I got a lot of stuff done, and I cleaned up because you know how she was about cleaning. Tisha always cleans.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you one thing about your mother. It's a such thing. I'm clean. I have OCD. A place for everything and everything in its place. But your mother, remember that time that I had spent the night, and it was about, I feel like it was like 5 o'clock in the morning, but it was more so maybe like 2 o'clock in the morning. I don't know. But all I remember was being woke out of a slumber and saying, get your asses up and clean. And I was like, you know what? This is going to be my last sleepover over here. Because one thing I'm not going to do is get up in the middle of the night and clean. And she was serious. It wasn't even like a joke. It was like,
as a heart attack.
Get up,
it was
clean.
Terrible.
You're washing clothes. You're sweeping floors. It's a lot. It was a lot.
It was terrible.
It was a lot.
We had dishwashers. We was never allowed to use them. We could barely use the mop because she wanted us, to clean the floor. And it wasn't even like, and it wasn't even like a Cinderella thing. It was just like, she was like, no, that's not how you clean. If you want it clean, you got to do it like this. Like clean. And she really was a clean. She could be dead sleep. And if you ran a vacuum cleaner, that would be like music to her ears. Like she loved vacuum tracks. She loved vacuum tracks to the carpet. Oh my goodness. When she used to get mad at us, she used to take all the linen out the closet and make us refold it and put it back.
Yeah, I know. I was there.
And everybody who went to college or got a new apartment, she gave them all their first linens, all the sheets, the towels, everything. We had more, everything. We had more.
Yeah, she called me like, come around here right now, not later. Come right now. I was like, well, I'm doing, come right now. Stop what you're doing and come and get the stuff. She gave me a blanket that I literally just got rid of. She gave me a blanket. She gave me all my sheets. She gave me towels. I was like, look at this. It was a good thing I came around here. I didn't have to buy nothing. And she was not playing, loaded me up.
Yeah, she really liked linen. And I think that's why I changed my bed. Like, I have about 6 bed in the bags every year. I change my sheets and my bedspread to match the curtains and the shower curtain all the time because of her. So, I mean, if your parents are still alive, honor your parents because you just never know. That was my girl. And you just don't realize, until we were still, close, cool, but you just don't realize how much you would miss them, till they gone. But so that was my week. It was good. A lot of progress, a lot of cleaning, a lot of laughing, a lot of memories.
Good.
So how was your week? Did y'all move yet?
By the time this episode airs, we will have moved. The move was good, I guess. Yeah, I guess. I don't know how it was after I left the office, but it was hectic all throughout the week just because, we're moving a whole office. You imagine how that is. It's like I had anxiety when I moved my house, but then to move the office, it's like you're going through stuff. I've been at this same office since 2008, and it's been people that have been at the same office since like 1997, 1999. So the stuff that they had, this was before technology, before you was like scanning stuff and, being able to keep everything on the computer. So you just had we had piles and piles and piles of paper that we had to get rid of. And people just kept asking me questions, and that really got on my nerves because I'm like, okay, all right, okay, all right. But, hey, it's by the time this episode airs, we'll be moved into the office, then the unpacking begins, and they want us to come into the office on Sunday.
Excuse me?
Right. Yeah, they want you to come into the office on Sunday to unpack your stuff so that you can be up and running on Monday. And if you decide to come in on Monday, then they want you to come in before 8 a.m. so that at 8 a.m. when the offices are open, you can be up and running. I'm like, these people are delusional. You leave no room for error. It's no contingency plan. It's just, but again, I might go in there on Sunday just to make sure me and my boss's stuff not is unpacked, but that our computer is at least set up because the office is like around the corner from where I'm living at now. But if it was any further, no. If I wake up on Sunday and I don't feel like it, no. And I won't, I won't be there at 8 a.m. before 8 a.m.
Right.
I'm not even at work on time. So I'm not going to be there before 8 a.m. But, that's how the week went, just moving. I didn't work out this week because I've been leaving my office very late every day. And you know how I feel about that. Because, at 3:55, I'm like, all right, bye. See you tomorrow. So staying there later has been a chore. But we're getting it done. I guess you have to do what you have to do sometimes.
So who appointed you the Woody from, remember Toy Story? I guess it was, I don't know if it was Toy. Oh, how old is Brie? I guess Brie is not Toy Story age, huh?
She's 11, and I guess she might be Toy Story age.
Because my Toy Story was out, I think, when my kids were young. So I think you probably missed, and Imani probably saw it. I don't know.
Right.
But Toy Story, that's how Woody was the head toy. He was like, they were moving. He was like, moving, buddy. You haven't got one? He was in charge of the whole move.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like what the movie was based on. The toys got lost during the move, and they had to get back to the boy. So he was the Woody.
I don't know. I am the Woody. However, if things get lost, if you don't have your stuff, if it wasn't, I made sure that the people on our staff was cool.
Mm-hmm.
So, everybody else, I can't speak to them. Who appointed me as the Woody? Nobody. I wasn't originally appointed as the Woody, but I became the Woody by default because one of my coworkers who was supposed to be handling the things, he had an injury. So he was out of work for almost a month, probably, or, several weeks. And so while he was out, I had to step up and take on the responsibility of being the Woody.
Mm. Well, there you go.
I mean, that's
why they pay you the big bucks.
Sometimes you have to do what you have to do for the greater good.
Right.
And that was what I was doing. An interesting thing happened to me this week, too, as well as the move. I was neighborly. Can you believe it? I was neighborly.
Oh, wait a minute. Let me take it in. Okay. So
this week I was doing a lot. I was talking to coworkers. I was being neighborly. I was doing it up.
What did you do? Hold on. What did you do neighborly? Like, did you speak to the neighbor? Or did you really
I did
do something
neighborly? Okay.
Oh, what happened?
So I was sitting at home, chilling, and I got a knock on the door, right? I go to the door, I look out the peephole, and I'm like, who is it? I saw who it was, and I knew he was my new neighbor, because I saw him moving in, and I saw, I see him coming in and out or whatever. So I knew he was my new neighbor. And I'm like, who is it? And he was like, oh, it's the neighbor from upstairs or whatever. I said, okay. I opened the door. So he started asking me about, because he just moved in, and he was like, he didn't know who, I don't know why he didn't know this information, but okay, he didn't know who to send his HOA fees to, and he didn't know if water was included in the HOA fee. So I was like, let me try to get the information from you, for you. So he said, okay. I said, I'll come up, when I get the information. So I called to another neighbor who has helped me out in the past, the older people who live near me.
Oh, yeah,
and they're
right.
all the nosy ones. Yeah, so
right.
I had these nosy neighbors, but nosy in a good way, like have been living around here for so long that they really pay attention to everything. They nosy. They looking out the window.
And they're old.
They
don't have anything else to do. Right.
Exactly. So it's fine. So I had their number from when I went to Thailand. They looked out for the place, and they collected my mail and everything. So I called them like, hi, Mr. Morris, can you tell me, and I got the information for the neighbor. And then I walked upstairs, and he had his door open. So I'm like, okay. So he was like, you want to come in? Nah, my man, I'm going to give you the information. I said, get a pen. I gave him the information, and I said, here, take this number down, which was Mr. Morris' number, because he was like, oh, you can give him my number. I said, oh, okay. So I said, this is the neighbors next door. You can call them. They've been living here for a long time. They'll give you all the information that you need. And he was like, oh, thank you so much. And when I walked downstairs, I really felt like, look at me. That was a huge.
You ain't never lied.
Let me tell you, this is a huge step, because I don't really talk to people. I don't really fraternize with neighbors or coworkers. Everybody that's listening, it's just a thing. I'm not really into it. I just like to I'm private, and I like to keep my privacy. I don't want to buy a bunch of people in my business, and neighbors got a tendency to be in your business, and I don't want that. So, but today, I felt like, man, look at me.
And you know what else happened today? It snowed. Hell has frozen over.
Sometimes you got to step up, like I said earlier. Sometimes you have to step up and do things.
Oh, my goodness.
For the greater good. And
it was 70 degrees just the other day, and today it's snowed, like that heavy, cold snow, too. Wind blustering, everything.
It was 75-mile-an-hour winds. Well, look at that.
Yeah.
And I helped the neighbor.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the first time for everything.
Hey, I'm just saying. Well, that's my who did some shit this week. Maya was neighborly. Oh, my goodness. Anything is possible.
Yeah, well, listen. Everyone can change. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that this is going to be a continued thing. No, this is probably like a one and done, but hey, I did it.
You did it. I'm so proud of you.
Right. Whoop, whoop.
Mm-hmm. And he going to think you the go-to lady, too. Like, I'll just ask my baby Maya.
No, I hope not. Because then I'm going to have to give him the nice, friendly speech of, I'm not that neighbor, sweetie.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. That's fine. That's great, though. So what are we talking about this week?
Oh, man. This week we are going to discuss, are we in a relationship or no?
No.
Yeah. Well, it's a no for both of us, but
it's so
much more to the topic.
It's so many ships out nowadays, relationship, situationship, lituationships, bullships. So many. So maybe you in one of the ships, but relationship, I don't know. Oh, that's a no. That's a no for me. But all right, so who did some shit this week? Well, I said mine. Maya was neighborly. That's who did some shit. And oh no, I have another one. So a woman from Camden.
Okay.
She single mother. I think she had 2 or 3 small children, and she called 911, and she told the dispatcher that her children were hungry. She didn't have any food. And she said she went to the food bank, and they didn't have any food. She went to the church, and they didn't have any food. She had applied for food stamps, but they said it would take like a week or something to process the application. And her children hadn't eaten. They didn't eat yesterday, and then they hadn't eaten yet on the day she was calling. And instead of calling the DIFUS and like having her children snatched away, another officer overheard the phone call and sent a squad car out there to do like a welfare check. And the police officer arrived and saw that there really wasn't any food in the house, and went to the bodega and got the children something to eat. And the sergeant who sent the officer out there called her parents. And her parents went to the grocery store, and they brought her like 10 bags of groceries.
Wow.
Wasn't that nice?
That was nice. I mean, you know how I feel about the police, but they did that shit.
Right. The police did that shit this time. They did. They did. So they have their moments, but this was a good one. So, yeah, I thought that was really nice that they did that.
It was.
And, I mean,
there's a number of things in there in that what you just said. One, that she went to the food bank and they didn't have food. 2, that she went to the church and they didn't have food. And it's just amazing that in this day and age that you can go to a food bank and they don't even have non-perishable foods to give to you. You know, it used to be a time where you can go to a place like the food bank, especially you could go to a place like the church, and you can get something, and now you can't even go to those places when you're in need to get anything. And
the South Jersey, recently, the South Jersey food truck, the truck was stolen. It was full of food. It was full of food because it was cold outside. They parked it they went to pick up the food. They parked it in the lot at the food bank, and then somebody stole the truck with all the food in it. So the food bank has been like needing food lately. And another thing about this story, like we need to think about, like I'm a charitable person. I support some charities faithfully, and then some I give like, one time or when I can or whatever. But, it's the holidays have just passed us, and people need help after Christmas.
Right.
You know, Christmas and Thanksgiving is just like one day, and people like who need help, they need help beyond Christmas. So it's a lot of times after the holidays, the giving for January, February, March, the giving, it not only does it decrease, it like takes a dive.
Right.
You know, so the people who are in need, they're not always able to get what they need. It's sad. But I'm, you know, and I'm especially happy that when she called, they didn't dispatch we call it DIFUS. It's called something else now, but it's like, you know, the children's services where people come and take your kids away and, you know, stuff like that.
Right. Because
and I just thought that was
admirable.
thought. Right. So that was
like
a happy ending.
Right. You have a parent who called that said that their children didn't eat yesterday and their children didn't eat today. The first thought that came to my mind was, they would call Children and Family Services to come and pick these children up, you know.
Right.
But that was, I mean, look at the police.
Right. Go ahead.
Especially in Camden.
Right. Exactly. So that was a good thing.
Yeah, it was. Kudos to them. Ma who did some shit is, so this past weekend, I went to my girlfriend's house. She has like a girls' weekend every so often. I mean, I guess it's maybe like every 6 months or something like that. She has a get-together where all her friends come, and we stay the night. It's like a big sleepover, you know, and we just have a good time. We cut up, you know, and we just have a good time, play games and, you know, debates and all that good stuff. And so we had the girls' night. The next day, we were just sitting around, just a couple of us, you know, because the majority of people had left, and we were just sitting around after breakfast. I had made breakfast, fried fish, grits, eggs. We was doing it up. And we just sitting around, and my girlfriend had this book of questions. It was called, I think, like, What If or something. But anyway, one of the questions in the book was, if you had to pick one person's wardrobe to wear for the rest of your life, whose wardrobe would it be? Really, the question was if you had to pick one designer. But if you're not into specific designers like that, as some of us aren't, then, you know, you might not say, I want to wear Balenciaga or, you know, or I want to wear YSL or whomever. So we said if you had to pick a person, right? So my one girlfriend, Kelly, she's like, if I had to pick one person whose wardrobe I would wear forever, I would pick Rihanna. She's like my flavor, you know, that street, edgy, you know, urban, just type of flair, and that's who I would pick, right? So I said if I had to pick somebody, I would pick Tracy Ellis Ross. You know, I think she is like classic, contemporary, just like clean, you know, lines just all around. I just love her style, and I would pick her, right? So my other girlfriend, we said, Tisa, who would you pick, right? She thought for like 10 minutes, right? Had her hands up to her mouth. I mean, she thinking hard, right? So she's like, you went to me. So I'm like, yeah, I'll pick my person, right? So she's like, if I had to pick somebody, I mean, if I had to make a decision right now, I would pick, are you ready for the pick?
Yes.
Now, you heard who we said.
This better be funny, too.
No, listen.
Tracy,
we picked Rihanna and Tracy
and
Ellis
I can
Ross.
see Kelly picking Rihanna, and I can see you picking Tracy Ellis Ross. Yes, I see that. Okay.
So she picked, of all people in the world, past and present, you could have picked anybody. And she picked none other than Candy. Candy.
Burris?
Yes. Any person in the world you could dress like for the rest of your life. And she thought for 10 minutes, and that's what she came up with, Candy. And she said it so matter-of-factly, like, Candy. So we was like, Candy?
What? Did she? Oh, wow.
Listen.
Okay.
So we said,
wait a minute.
So we was like, Candy. So we ripped her. It was just off instinct. We ripped her like Candy. Out of all the people that you could pick for the rest of your damn life, you gonna pick Candy? Like what would
like? Did she have a reason? Right? Because I need to hear it. Right?
So you heard our reasoning, right? The edgy,
right.
urban,
right.
street, mine the contemporary, classic.
Right.
You ready? She said,
she's regular.
I like the way she wear her jeans and sneakers.
Right. I was about to say, because she don't, A, Candy hardly ever gets dressed. B, when Candy gets dressed up, she always looks like, no shade Candy, but she stuffed into whatever it is, like stuffed in it. She
from the shoes to the dress.
Yes, and she does
everything.
And I don't want to say cheap, but she does dress like, regular person, working class person. Look like, okay.
No.
I'm not calling the girl cheap. Okay. I don't know. She wears all these designers, but she just looks like cheap.
Cheap. Yeah, and that's exactly how she looks. I don't care what. Listen, let me tell you something.
Oh my goodness.
I don't care what Candy has on, and I hate to even sit here and rip Candy. Not really, but I do. I don't care what Candy has on. You gonna say out of all of the people in the whole world, like in the whole history of the world, not even. I mean, you could pick anybody. And you picked Candy. Then to top it all off, after she said Candy, right, after we ripped her, she says, she walks in the kitchen and she says, all right, I want to change my answer because y'all doing too much. and she says, I'm a pick. And then she picks Yandy.
Well, clearly, I don't think I ever met Tisa, but clearly Tisa's just a regular, down-to-earth person, like regular. Like, not that, like, okay.
Wait a minute. She said Yandy, and then she walked away. Like she did profound. Exactly. Oh, you don't like Candy? Don't worry. I had somebody for y'all. And then she said Yandy. And we like, from Love and Hip Hop. I mean,
oh man.
When you talk about we laughed. This is no exaggeration. We laughed. I left her house. This happened maybe around 12. I left there maybe around 6. We laughed from 12 to 6. Every time I thought about it, I'm like, Candy. You like the way she wears her jeans and sneakers. So what did she say? Today, I'm going to put the ripped jeans on with the Jordans. Tomorrow, I'm going to wear the Stonewash with the flat Adidas. Then I'm going to wear, like, what in the world would make you pick Candy Burris of all people? I just was like,
she did that shit. Let me just say that. She did that shit because, and it just goes to show that you have, a variety of friends. Like, you're not cliquish. Like, all your friends are not into everything that you're into. Y'all all do not have the same style.
Heck no,
and, all that kind of stuff. Or what
nobody. First of all, I would have never thought she would have picked Candy. But then, actually picked Candy? No, I don't have one person in the whole. Mm-hmm. And let me tell you something. Tisa is like the funniest person. She's funny. And I laugh at everything. She's funny. Like, from the time she says hello, I'm laughing. She could be a comedian. But anything that she has ever said in her life that was funny, it doesn't compare to Candy. I'm sorry. Candy?
For fashion. Candy
Who
and
would
fashion.
You pick? She was like, you went? Okay. If I had to make a choice, I'm going to go with, she said it so matter-of-factly. She was like, Candy. Girl, I can't even believe it. I'm still laughing. Like, sometimes I just find myself in the middle of the day just like, she said Candy.
Like, I would have never thought of her, and like, you don't even, when you think fashion, you don't even think Candy. When I think jeans and sneakers, I don't think Candy. I don't think Candy either. I don't, like, if I would get dressed, I never saw Candy and say, oh, that's cute.
Never.
Ever.
Never.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness. Mm.
Mm.
So yeah,
Not
that
Cynthia,
was my
but Candy.
shit because right, not Marlo, but Candy.
But Candy.
Not Nene, but Candy.
But Candy.
Not even Portia, but Candy.
Right.
Said no one ever.
Said no one ever. Well, you know what? Go ahead, Candy. You're still influential with your jeans and sneakers. Go ahead, girl. Looking like a missionary. Go ahead.
Yeah, that was my who did some shit for this week. Oh, my God.
Well, I'm glad it made you laugh. Laugh is good for the soul. And we can always use it
coming down my eyes. But anyway, let me stop because you know how I am. I will start laughing, and we will never get through this.
Stop.
So listen, let's go ahead and get into our topic for this week. Are you in a relation? Are we? Excuse me. Are we in a relationship or no?
No.
So, listen, we wanted to approach the topic this week of are we in a relationship or no? How do you know when you're in a relationship?
You are in a relationship when y'all say out your mouth, this is a relationship. Boyfriend and girlfriend, I just hate those terms. Like, after the 7th grade, 8th grade, like, what is boyfriend, girlfriend? I don't,
what do you say? You want to be my man friend?
No, but, I mean, like, you could be boyfriend, girlfriend in high school and all that, whatever. That's my man. I don't know. I just think that whole, I don't know. I just, like, we're old now, so I'm not into that.
Okay.
Whatever you have to do. Do you like me? Do you want to be my girlfriend? Yes, no, maybe. Call me next week. Whatever you have to do. But until you say it, like, out your mouth and you agree, like, hello, I'm John. I like you. I only like you. I'm not going to call any other girl. I'm not going to go out with any other girl. You are my girl. We are in a relationship. You have to have the talk. I know many people, you have to. You have to. Because they be like, oh, well, we've been doing this for 3 years. And I be like, yeah, but in his mind, he's just doing that with you because he don't have nobody else to do it with right now. You all right? And then 3 years in 1 month, something happens, and you start going off, and then they get I never said that.
I never said we were in a relationship.
I thought, right. I thought we was kicking it. No, I was cool.
Right.
He was cool. So no, I don't. Yeah, no, I don't.
You only spent every day over here, half moved in, got a key, and got the alarm code. And you sit and cook me dinner every single day. But are we in a relationship? I don't know.
We cool. This is the term I hate. We kicking it. Oh my gosh, I can't. What is kicking it? Like, what is that? Like, what is kicking it?
Kicking it is like dating. We're dating. It's just like another term for dating. We're kicking it.
I don't think that kicking it and dating is the same thing. And I'm not saying for me. I'm just saying in general. I don't think people equate
so what do you
kicking
think
it
kicking it is?
I think kicking it is like beneath dating. Because kicking it is like no expectations. It is what it is. We do what we do. See you when I see you.
Well, what is
and
dating?
I'm not saying
about
me,
that, but
dating is going on a date. Hi, how was your day? You know what? We're going to go out this weekend. We're going to do this, that, and the third. That's dating.
You
kicking
can't
it
do
is
that if you're kicking it.
I'm not saying, for me, I don't kick it. I don't like the term at all. I don't use the term, nothing. I don't do the kick it. But in general, I just think, most people, like, kicking it is below dating. Like, dating is more respectable than kicking it is just so leisure and lackluster. It's whatever. You can have a great kicking it experience, and then you can have a real regular kicking it experience, like, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, so I don't know. Now, I mean, I don't like kicking it. Now, I will admit, I've had I had a vacation fling for like 2 years. I wouldn't call it kicking it.
First of all, what?
Yeah, I had a vacation fling for 2 years.
Oh, so that's what we calling it now, a vacation fling?
That's what it was. It was a vacation fling that went mad long and like mad vacations. Because
so
you literally that's exactly what it was.
You went on dates with this person. You were on vacation with this person. You brought this person around us, your family, and it was a vacation fling that lasted mad long?
That's what it was. He was cool.
Okay, so were you and him dating or were you and him kicking it? Minus the vacation fling, because the vacation fling is I meet you on vacation, we have a good time on vacation, never to be seen again, maybe until we go on the next vacation, but never to be seen again. That vacation fling turned into a dating situation. It wasn't kicking it.
It wasn't kicking it only because I don't believe in kicking it, but it was a vacation fling, and that's exactly what I said. So I met him at the airport. We were going to the same place. We were on the same flight, coming and going. You know, so we met at the airport. We sat next to each other on the plane, and we was like together, literally. We was like together for 2 years straight since the day we met. We talked every single day. Whatever. But when we came back from that first trip where we met, and so the first time he came, he called me or whatever. He wanted to, take me out on a date. And so I went on the date because we had a good time. And, but right after the date, when he brought me home, we're sitting, we're sitting on the sofa, we're talking. And, I'm a straight shooter. I don't have no time for whatever. So I was like, so what is this? What are we doing? Because, I'm not that chick. And I thought vacation. What I said was, I never had a vacation fling before because I haven't. I thought I was going to have a great story to tell my grandkids. But anyway, I was like, I never had a vacation fling before, but I thought they were supposed to be over when the vacation was over. And he looked at me like, huh? And he was like, well, not if you're vibing. And I was like, is that what we're doing? Are we vibing? He was like, yeah, like you cool. You don't like me? And I was like, you cool, but I don't know what this vibing is. I don't kick it. I had a good time. You real cool and everything, but, I don't know what this is or whatever. And he was like, well, let's just see if, we home now. Let's just see how it go. We'll take it from there. I was like, oh, okay, fine.
Okay, so y'all had the talk, but not the talk of
wait. So that was the first date. That was the first date. So it doesn't take long to know what it is, what you want, what 6 weeks comes up, and I'm like, hey, whoa, because first of all, 99% of the time, men ain't gonna have to talk. You're going to have to bring it up because they ain't trying to do, lockdown or nothing, whatever. So, about 6 weeks go by, we going out, and we still like talking every day, going out at least once or twice a week, whatever. And he lived about 45 minutes away, but, we would see each other at least once a week, sometimes 2-3 times, whatever, and going out, like no Netflix and chill, none of that. We were going out, had a good time. So, about 6 weeks in, same thing, like, oh, what's the deal? Like this vacation fling is going way long. And he was like, what you mean? Like, we cool. I was like, yeah, but what is this? Like, do you date other people? And he was like, no. And I was like, well, do you date other people because you're dating me? Or do you not date other people because you're dating me? Or do you not date other people because you don't have nobody to date right now? And he was like, I was like, oh, a little bit of both, because when you get hesitated, that's what, right. I'm just saying, I'm like, don't lie. Just, they tell me truth, let me choose, whatever. So he was like, yeah, a little bit of both, whatever. I was like, all right, well, I told you I don't do this kicking it thing. So I don't know about how much longer we going.
And this is how long in?
This is 6 weeks. So that we had to talk
6 weeks in. But when you first started this conversation, you said that you had a vacation thing for 2 years.
Right, so we 6 weeks in, right.
Okay.
So then
I
3 months.
The story myself.
3 months in, we had another talk. Now, mind you, 3 months in, still talking every day, still going out every week, and everything is like fabulous, great. But I didn't consider it a relationship. You know, he wasn't my man. If I would have had somebody else.
You didn't consider the relationship because when you had the talk, he said, well,
we didn't say it was a, exactly.
You didn't say, I'm your man, you're my woman, and that's what it is.
No, right, no.
Okay.
So I didn't, like, he wasn't my man, whatever, like that. So, it, you know, so I was like, so 3 months in, I was like, look, what is this? And then, you know, it was like the similar conversation. So I decided, my own self, I was like, well, let me do an inventory. You know, I ain't dated in a couple years. We having fun. I'll see. Let me just keep this fling going. Mind you, the whole 2 years we was doing it up. You know what I mean? We was doing it up. And then one day, like after 2 years, and it wasn't even, well, it was like, so I met him August 1st, and I don't know why I remember, but I met him August 1st, and so it was like. Because
of the event you was going to. You
that's right,
the event. Yeah. But go ahead.
So I met him August 1st, and then, so it was like June, it was early June, like almost to that August, it would have been, so it would have been 2 years that August, but in June, he came over one day, and for whatever reason, he called me. Like, because he would only do that, like, if it was cold outside or whatever, and he'd be like, I'm about to pull up or whatever. So, but it was June, and he called me, and he was like, I'm outside. And I was like, oh, all right. And I was like, yo, stay in the truck. I'm coming out. Now, mind you, everything was regular, like it's always been or whatever. So I go outside. I get in the truck. I was like, hey, you know, how you doing? But he had went somewhere allegedly with his boys. I don't know. It was vacation fling. I ain't asked no questions. I don't care. So it was June, and it was early June because his birthday had, you know, recently passed. His birthday's end of May. So I was like, you had a nice time? He was like, yeah. I said, oh, that's great. I said, whatever this is, this thing here, yeah, it's a wrap. He was like, what? And I was like, I said, yeah, I'm done with this. Yeah, it's over. And he was like, I don't know what you want me to say. I was like, you don't have to say anything. You know, I told you from the beginning that I really don't do this kicking and thing, whatever. We having good times, whatever, you know, but it's a wrap. I'm done with this. And, you know, I was like, you had to know it was going to come to an end one day. You don't really want to do nothing, so it's all right. And he was just looking at me, and he had like this look on his face. And I was like, what?
He couldn't believe it.
Well, that and we had trips planned all summer. We had 3 trips planned that summer. And he was like, and I was like, oh, the trips? I said, no, we're going to go on the trips. We're going to go on the trips. We're going to have a great time. But when we come back from Mexico, no, Atlanta, because Atlanta was the last trip. I said, when we come back from Atlanta, it's a wrap. Like, it's cool. And he was like, all right. And I was like, all right. And he was like, yeah. And I was like, then he was looking at me again. I was like, what? You don't feel like driving back home now? And he was like, yeah. I was like, no, you can stay. Come on, you know, whatever. And we went out like we usually do. And he stayed. And because I had homework to do anyway, whatever, he stayed. And I did not see him again until he came to pick me up for the airport for the first trip we had. And then we went on that trip. We had a great time, came home. I didn't see him again until he picked me up for the airport for the second trip. And we had a great time. And the Atlanta trip, you know, me and you, like he goes with his boys and me and you go. So, you know, we saw him during that. We had a great time. And, you know, that was it for me. Now, it just so happened that, you know, Deja graduated from college and I gave her a party. He had already known about the party. So we get back and he came to the party. And I was like, just okay, okay. Like he had an invitation, everything. And so when I went outside because you know, our cousins Tony and Lynette was looking for a parking spot, so I was trying to show them in the field where they can park. And they had turned around and he was pulling up, and I was like, "What are you doing here?" He was like, "I'm not here for you. I'm here for Deja." I said, "Oh, that's wonderful. We take all gifts. Park right there." Thank you. And I mean, so we still cool.
Said, listen. If he would have said, it was a vacation fling, right? So the topic is, are we in a relationship or not? And we are talking about having the talk about being in a relationship. So even though it was a relationship, I mean, what you call it?
It was a vacation fling.
Even if it was a vacation fling, if he would have in those years or even after it when you was like, nah, this is it, if he would have said, no, let's be in a relationship, would you have been in a relationship with him?
I don't think so.
You was already in a relationship, so speak without having to talk.
No, I wasn't. It was a vacation. It was a vacation fling. We have a relationship now. It was a vacation fling. It was a 2-year vacation fling. So what? We talked to each other every day. So what? We went on dates every week. So what? We went on vacation.
You were just dating him. It wasn't a vacation
exactly.
fling. You were just dating him.
Well, it was a vacation fling. It was a lot of vacations. I met him on vacation. The fling just went way mad long.
I mean, if we want to call it that, that's fine.
It was a fling. But anyway, if he would have wanted a relationship, I really, like, in the beginning, maybe I would have considered it. But after like 6 months, no, because why are you going to keep the fling going for 6 months and then act like you want to be in a relationship? Like, it would have been fishy. So we would have really had to have like an extensive I don't know. I just felt like you was flingy now. Like, and I really feel like, and I feel like this about
with the fling at first.
It was the fling. Like, it was a vacation fling. I, hadn't date. I was going to the fling capital of the world. It was all right, I thought I was going to have a great story to tell my grandkids one day, but, I got to tell my grandkids now that, my mom was fabulous, child. They just never want to leave. But anyway. I don't know.
Okay, but anyway, listen.
But that's what it was. It was a fling.
Okay, well, listen. I agree with you. I don't agree with you on the fling part, but that's not my relationship, so I can't really speak on it. But I agree with you on I don't think that we're in a relationship unless we have the talk. We talked about last week how allegedly I'm a casual relationship lover, allegedly. So I haven't had the talk. I have had people bring the talk to me, but I'm more of a, well, let's see what happens type of person myself. And the thing is are we in a relationship or not? I've had somebody ask me that, like, so are we in a relationship? And I'm thinking, like, no. Here's the thing.
No, we only on year one. We only in year 1.5, and you got this time.
You're painting me in this picture, in this light, and I don't even know where this light is coming from, because that light doesn't even describe me. That light does not even showcase who I am, and it's all a lie. It's all allegedly. But here's the thing: I am on the one. I'm a funny type of person, because on the one hand, I feel like, no, we're in a relationship unless we have to talk, and then on the other hand, I feel like, aren't I doing everything that's like relationship-esque? What do you think we're in? You know what I'm saying? So
right.
I don't always, like, for example, somebody that I'm dating right now, they keep saying stuff about relationships, They keep saying stuff like, like, it's basically, to me, it's kind of like questioning, even, do I like you? And I'm thinking, like, I like you. I'm doing everything that shows you that I like you. And I feel, because I'm them kind of person, people that feel like actions speak louder than words. So I feel like if my actions are showing you what it is, then it's what it is. Like, why do I have to lay it out for you and say? And it's so funny that I even feel that way, because I also feel like we need to say, like, we're in a monogamous relationship.
And I was about to say, how can you have to believe in the talk, because you believe in dating the kind of the same way I believe in dating. If you're dating, you're dating. I'm not obligated to only date you and, stuff like that. So you believe in dating more than one person at a time. It's like, it's dating. So what? Exactly.
Dating.
So because if you believe in dating like that, then you have to have the talk. Because if he's saying, I like you and we're dating, you be like, all right, yeah, we're dating. And then he's thinking that we're dating, it's me and you. And you're thinking like, oh, I'm dating him and I'm dating him too. And, oh, this guy I met, he wanted to take me out. You know what I mean? Because we just
like
look at dating like.
process of elimination. Like, I think that dating is a process of elimination. Like, I'm dating you. So I'm dating 3 people at the same time, right? And that means not sleeping with them. But if I want to, that's on me. I mean, I'm of age.
Right.
But I mean more so just like I'm dating people. We're going out. We're having a good time. I'm getting to know you. You getting to know me. But in that process of getting to know someone, process of elimination starts happening. It's really the person who you have the most chemistry with, the person that you might spend the most time with, even though you're dating several people at the same time, the person that you have the most in common with. You start noticing things, or you start becoming more attached to someone as time goes on. And no, not year 1, year 2, like you try to make it seem, but just in general, it happens. Process of elimination happens. And then that is the person who you might ultimately end up in a relationship with. But yes, it's still important to, even when the process of elimination starts happening, for you to have the talk of, okay, now we're in this monogamous relationship. Let's just be me and you, My relationships in the past have just really kind of like happened. I didn't really have to talk. It was just kind of like one of them things, what's understood doesn't have to be said. But that was then. As I get older, it's definitely the talk. We have to have the talk. It 100% has to be the talk, because, like you said, it's too many ships that's happening. And I've been in my fair share of situationships, and I mean, like, all of those things weren't on somebody else. It was definitely on me. The situationship definitely happened on me. Like, oh, okay, this is just what I'm doing. We having a good time. It is what it is. I mean, I wasn't fortunate enough to have no relationship fling or anything that lasted for several years. But that's no shade either. But, I've been in my fair share of situationships. So moving forward, what I'm trying to do in my life now, as I stated, trying to be intentional, I don't want to have more situationships, I think. I don't think so. I don't think I want to.
Well, I believe in the talk for just about everything. Like, if I believe in the talk, like, are we dating exclusively? We got to talk. We have to say that. Are we in a relationship, like, exclusive, that's leading to somewhere? We have to say that. And really, like, I know how. First of all, we don't bring anybody around the family. Like, you can't. But I bring people. I don't have to be super serious about a person to bring them to a family. Like, because if they cool with me. If I think that there's somebody that's going to, even if the relationship don't work out, we're going to be cool, and that's a lot of times. But, like, if they're cool with me and I know it ain't a relationship that's going anywhere, I'll bring them to something with the family if we hanging out. Like, my friend from Long Island. You don't, right? Well, that's because you're not on year. That's year 5 and a half.
I don't care. First of all, that's a lie, because some people have been on year 10.
It's longer than that.
Never been around you.
Hello, like America. That proves my point. Thank you.
First of all, it doesn't prove your point, but it's a number of reasons why I don't bring people around the family. But I'll talk about that after you finish your point. Go ahead.
So just like my friend from Long Island. Remember when we went to Miami? And it was a hurricane, and he came to pick us up and take us out. And so when he was in town, and we were getting together, so I was like, oh, well, come on, it's not like we're not in no relationship or anything. That's that's my boy, whatever, and I bring him in around the family because he was in town, like stuff like that. So I'm not very, like, if I'm dating somebody, yeah, they can like meet them, but like family events, yeah, no, not really. Because those kind of things we have to talk about. And I believe in reciprocity. If I can't come to your house, you can't come to my house. If I can't meet your mama, you can't meet my daddy. If I can't come to you, I believe in like we ain't doing nothing lopsided around here. And and I think it just makes it easier when you just come right out and discuss everything. You can't hurt my feelings. It's cool,
right?
And I always have the right to walk away. So I don't think it's any big deal.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I agree wholeheartedly with that because that's how I am. If I'm not going, and it's the thing is, it's so funny, it's because it's not like I can't go around your family, but I'm not. I'm not going around your family. And the reason being is because we haven't had to talk. We haven't had to talk that we're exclusive. So I feel like, what am I going around meeting your family for? I don't care if you've been around me for years. But what am I going around meeting your family for them to get all attached to me because I'm such a nice, great person? And then it's like, toot. It's because like I said, I'm a great person, and then they get attached to me, and then you bring Sherry around, and they like, what happened to Maya? I don't want you to go through that. So if we're not having the talk, then it's no need for me to go around your family, and I don't feel any kind of way. I was saying to a girlfriend of mine the other day, it's so funny because I was like, I really think my family might think I'm a lesbian at this point. Like, they've never seen anybody but my ex, and they probably think like, damn, it's like, what is she doing with herself? Don't worry, family. I'm cool. You know what I'm saying? But everybody ain't for y'all. It's just not what we doing. You know what I'm saying? It's just not the thing. But yeah, and I believe in open communication in relationships. No matter if it's a friendship, a relationship exclusively monogamous to us, or if it's a situationship, or if it's a whatever ship. I believe in open communication. And so because of that, I believe that the talk is important. And like you said, any kind of talk is important, not just the talk like, are we in a relationship, but any kind of talk is definitely needed, especially in this day and age because lines can get blurred so fast. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's why I don't believe in posting people on social media and stuff like that, right? If somebody that I'm dating or if I'm in a relationship with them or whatever the case is, I don't believe in that because just people in your business, lines get blurred too fast, and then, like, I might not be with you tomorrow. I just don't, we might have had to talk today. Tomorrow I might feel like this ain't going to work, So
exactly.
I don't, so I think that for people that's listening out there, have to talk because if you don't, it's very easy for this to happen. Like you said earlier, we in this full-fledged ass relationship. We doing everything that a relationship does. You reaping all of the benefits of a relationship, and then I say something to you, and it's easy for you to say, we ain't in a relationship. Like, my man, come on. And that kind of stuff, it makes you want to cut somebody because if I'm giving you everything that a relationship gets without the title, but that was another question I was going to ask you. Is the title important?
It's only important as in, like, what you do because I am, I was married young. And I really believed in being a wife. I believed in being a wife no matter what. I believed in, like, even if I was angry, I cooked dinner every day. I kept the house together. I took care of the children. And, even though we're not together now, that is one thing that I will never be able to take from him is the fact that he allowed me to stay home with my children until they went to school full day. So my children never had to go to daycare, things like that, because that was very important to me, important enough that I could live on a budget. Like when, if he didn't even make a lot of money or whatever, it didn't matter to me. I would make it work, So I really took being a wife seriously. And I remember one time, when we were married, he worked second shift, and I cooked dinner every day before he went to work so he can have dinner. And
you was a good wife.
So one day, Deja had a doctor's appointment, and the appointment ran a little late, and I didn't have time to make dinner. and he worked in Cherry Hill, and Kimmy lived in Cherry Hill. So I called her. I told her I was going to come over and cook dinner for Monty, and I was just going to, take it to the job. So I went to the supermarket, and I just got an idea. I was like, so I got a little tablecloth and, some flowers or whatever. And, so I went to Kimmy's. I cooked dinner. I went to the job, and it was nice outside. So I put the little tablecloth on the table, the little flowers out, had our plates. It was like a picnic right outside. So the lunch came out, whatever, and they have like food trucks outside and everything. And everybody who came out looked at the table. They was like, "Oh wow, look at that. Oh wow, that's nice. Look at that." And Monty comes out and he didn't pay the table no mind at all. He was like, he was gunning for that truck, like. So I was like, Monty, and they was like, "Yo, dog, ain't that your wife?" And he turned around like, "Oh man." And my feelings was so hurt. Now this is
my
the same
time, effort, and
yes. And he was like, and then what he would do is, like he would eat dinner that day, and I don't eat leftovers like that. So if I sent him to dinner and then we had leftovers that next day, I would pack other stuff up and he would give it to his coworkers. And they were like, "Man, your wife be cooking every day, whatever." Now Monty he would be eating what I made that day, and they would be eating what I made yesterday. Because we really didn't eat leftovers. So they was all. They were well. I was the leftovers,
Okay.
So so his coworkers are always saying stuff about the food and how well I cook and everything, whatever. So he came back to sit at the table, and I was like, "What's the matter?" He was like, "No, this is nice and everything, but I really thought I'd be able to get something off the truck, something greasy."
It was like the kids who always eat out, and then who always eat at home, and then they finally get McDonald's. It was like, oh my goodness, we got McDonald's.
Yeah, so I always took wifely, that was my point, that I always took wifely duties very, very seriously. Yes. So when I wasn't married anymore, I was in a relationship for a long time with someone or whatever, but I never, I don't believe in like duties. Unless you're my husband, like he would always say, he was like, "You never asked me, like you don't need help paying your bills and stuff like that, whatever." I would just look at him like, I am not your responsibility. I'm not your wife. I'm not your responsibility, and my children are not your responsibility. And if I can, and being in a relationship costs money. I don't care who you are. It costs money. Like you got to get waxed, you got to get your hair done, your nails done. You know what I mean? You pay for stuff sometimes. You got to buy gifts, whatever. Like somebody come over your house, the lights got to be on. You got to have toilet paper. Exactly. Being in relationships costs money. So I shouldn't have to, and if you're going to be with somebody, if you're with them for a while and, a man gives you money or whatever, I think that's fine or whatever. However, it's not your responsibility. And I said, if I can't afford to date you, I ain't going to date you. I ain't gonna be with you. If I can't, I'm not sacrificing anything for my children to be with you. Right. I'm not your responsibility. You know what I mean? So
I hope you don't.
Right, but some people do that. They do that. They sacrifice their children's stuff to have a man. It happens.
Yeah, it happens.
But so no, I just don't. I don't believe in like duties like that. You have to really like put it on the line for me, and then there's some things that you only gonna get if we married. Like I don't feel obligated to do nothing.
Right.
Nothing. I'm not your wife.
So you don't care. I mean, you don't. The title doesn't mean as much to you if it's not. And I want to make sure that I'm hearing you right. The title does, because I started out by asking you, does the title mean anything? Like
no.
The talk.
The only title.
Okay.
The talk tells me what we're doing in this relationship. Are we monogamous? Okay. And that's really what the talk is about. Are we monogamous? But the only title that means anything is wife.
Okay.
Because even if you say, oh, we monogamous, and then you find out that we ain't monogamous, and then you be like, oh, okay, well, it's over. Or, you choose to do, because first of all, if you're not my husband, and even if you was my husband, I don't know if I can do all that. But if you're not my husband, it's really easy for me to walk away if you cheating. You know what I mean? Like, I ain't got to think about nothing. We ain't going to counseling. I ain't going to talk to my girlfriends. You don't need to go talk to your dad. Well, none of that. You know what I mean?
You don't need to go talk to your dad.
I mean, just say it. None of that. You don't have to have any discussions. You're not married to me. It's not like we're like, oh, don't throw it away, whatever. Like, yeah, we ain't got no bond.
Right. Well, I mean, I asked you that because for some people, right, I asked the question just because for some people, they want to have the talk just so they could get the title. It's not even about, again, some people don't need it. Some people don't need the talk. I told you I'm 50-50. I'm 50-50 on, I'm different now because I'm older, of course, and I want different things out of life. So I'm still kind of, maybe I'm like 60-40 or I'm like 70-30 or something like that. Because, a lot of times I am that easy flowing, like I said, just whatever happens, happens. Let's just see where it's going. But as I stated, the older that I get, but some people want to have the talk based off of the title. They want to be called, I'm saying, just being your woman. You know what I'm saying? Like, for some people, that's the win. Not that being in a relationship is a win or a loss, but I'm just saying for some people, that's what it means to them. They want to have the title of I'm your woman. You ever heard people talk, or of people who have talked like this, and they like, well, it's cool, he can do what he wants because I'm his woman. I mean, like, some people want that. So that's why they feel like, are we in a relationship or not? So they can have that title, so they can have that upper hand, or so they think that they can have that upper hand. I was just asking a question. I mean, it's, it
well,
needs to be
I mean,
explored,
if that's what a person wants, then that's wonderful. That's what a person wants. Then okay,
right? It's cool for them.
If that's what you think you're worth, right? That's what you think you're worth. Go ahead.
Right, it's cool for them, but I mean, it's still a question that needed to be asked. Since we're exploring the topic, let's explore the topic all the way around. That's not for you. That doesn't work for you, but for some people that works. That's why they want to have, or they want to know, are we in a relationship or not? You want to be able to say to whoever, like, I'm his number one, I'm his woman, I'm his, whatever the case is. You know what I mean?
I mean, whatever floats your boat. I learned very young that the only title that matters is wife.
Right.
I learned that at a very young age. I was in the 8th grade when my grandfather died. Mm-hmm. My grandfather was from the South. He came up north, for work, and my grandma didn't come. And he asked her, and she was like, oh, because my uncle was only like 8 years older than I am. And she was like, first it was when he finishes the school year, she would come. School year was over. She didn't come. She was like, well, he's going to the high school. He wants to go to the high school with his friends. When he finishes high school, she'll come. He finished high school. She never came. And, then he asked her when my uncle went into the service, and my grandma still didn't come. And my grandpa was like, well, I'm not asking anymore,
Right.
My grandma never came. Life. And exactly. And so I remember, like, my grandpa, he lived with a woman, this woman they were in a relationship, and she had children. And
by him?
No, not by my grandfather. She had children.
Okay.
And and they lived in the house, all together, whatever, and he helped raise her children and everything. And when my grandfather died, my grandma was like, yeah, send him home. And like, I was like, what is going on? And she was like, and there was nothing, whatever she said went, because she was still his wife. And like this other woman, and I knew the lady, she was nice to me and all that other kind of stuff, whatever, and I grew up with her kids and all of that, and we still close, we still talk and everything today.
Right.
But my grandma was like, yeah, so they sent him home. And they was like, yeah, but Mom, we want to do. She was like, send him home. Like, I don't care what they said. She was like, look, I don't have time for this nonsense.
Right.
You know what I mean? He belongs to me. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it was nothing that, the house had to go. Everything had to go. And anything that belonged to him was hers.
Mm-hmm.
So I learned
I'm not going to do that, be in a relationship for no 70 years, and then you're still married, and then that's a topic for another day. But let me tell you something. That would be a no for me. If you're not, but we're not even going to get into that because that's a topic for another day. Are you dating a married man? Is he separated, or what's going on? Because we'll explore that at another time. But in regards to the topic that we're talking about now, you are correct. Only title that matters is somebody being your wife, especially in instances like that. Don't get left out there being something other than that, and he's got a wife somewhere, and they say bring him home. Don't let that be you. Also,
don't let that be you, boo.
Right, don't let that be you. Also, I think that, when it comes down to men, I think that men communicate in a different kind of way. Men communicate with their actions. I think that it's very easy for us to be like, are we in this relationship? I think that men, like you said, aren't going to bring up the topic. I think that they show it in their actions. Are they regularly making plans? Are they introducing you to important people in their life? Like, those are the ways that a man sometimes communicates to you that they want to be in a relationship. Now if you're seeing things like that, then bring it up and say, are we in a relationship or what are we doing? You could bring it up earlier than that if you want to, but men show through their actions, like most people do. They show through their actions.
Well, and men can show through their actions, and I think that's wonderful. But it's a maturity thing, and you have to be able to say exactly what you're doing, and don't, because when then when they do something out of pocket, the first thing they say is, well, we ain't say such and such and such and such. You know what I mean? But they be doing all the things, like the vacation fling. He was doing all the things. I don't know what he was doing. Once if he dropped me off, or left my house, and when he hit the corner and turned right, hey, I don't know what you're doing. It could be somebody right at the next stop sign. I don't know what you're doing. Hey, you know what I mean?
And I know what a person is doing, but I mean,
that's what I'm saying, and that's exactly what I'm saying. So you can't, but at least if you have the talk, and then they're doing something, you can hold them accountable on what they said, is what I'm saying. Like, your word has to mean something. And that's why it makes it, when you have the talk, it just makes everything clear. You had the talk, this is what you said, and hopefully you're just not going to be with somebody. I don't care if it's a situationship, a relationship, a vacation fling, kicking it, dating. I don't care what it is. Hopefully you're not going to be in relationship with anyone who's treating you like stir-fried shit. Or treating you less than what you deserve. But if somebody says something, then you can hold them accountable to what they say, and then you can choose to say, well, you know what? If you're not a person of honor, you can't keep your word, then this is not for me. You're something to hold them to, and not all of their good actions. Because I'm going to tell you, and men, this is in marriage and out of marriage. Men, and this is in any relationship with a man, a brother, your dad. Men do good stuff because when they mess up, they want you to remember all the good stuff. That's why they pile good stuff forward. That's really the only reason why they behave. That's the only reason they get a little bit of act right, because they know they're going to do something, and then when they do something, they don't want you to bring up to something that they did. They want you to remember all the good stuff that happened before they did the big fuck up. So, you know what I mean? So it's not always about acting. Exactly.
That's how you want to act. What about?
What about exactly.
it?
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh, that's funny, but that's hilarious. But you know what? Let's wrap this up. And what we will say is this: it's very important to have the talk with your person that you are dating, spending the most time with, the one that you did the process of elimination with, the one that you have the chemistry with, the one that I'm introducing you to my family, you're introducing me to your family. Have the talk. Don't move forward before you set expectations on what it is right now, So have the talk. Do you have anything to add to that?
And I always say this because when I do my HIV 101 classes and I talk about the 5 rules of safer sex, rule number 3, and this is before you even get to sex, rule number 3 is always talk about it. So I am a big advocate of talking about it, and I say that in the talk. And this is, talk about whatever you're going to do with somebody, you should be talking about it before you ever do it. You have to know.
For sure.
You have to know. So that's why the talk is important. That's all I have to say.
I agree. So you want to get into our personal journals for this week?
Our personal journals. Can you go first this week?
Sure. It's always interesting when we get to the personal journal portion of our show, just because for me, I don't always know what I'm going to talk about on my personal journal. I really think about it at the beginning of the show, and then by the time we get to the part of the personal journals, then it just comes to me like a light bulb. This week, I don't have anything specific that I want to do, but no, I'm lying. I do want to do something specific for my personal journal this week. What I want to do is keep in contact with people more than I do right now. I want to be intentional. Last week I talked about being intentional in pursuing a relationship, because at the beginning of the podcast I talked about having a boyfriend in 2018. And then last week you tried to put me on the spot and say that I was in these long-term situationships or casual relationships or whatever they were, shits, whatever they were, which was a lie. It's all allegedly people. But anyway, I talked about being intentional and having a purpose in what it was that I was doing, or at least you talked about that for me, and then I piggybacked off it and said, yeah, that's what I want to do. So this week, what I want to focus on is being intentional, and when I'm thinking about someone, picking up the phone and calling them and just saying, hello, how are you? I find that a lot of times I'm thinking about people. I never pick up the phone and call them when I'm thinking about them. And then they come to me, and it seems like, I don't want to say always, but here lately it seems like the person that I'm thinking about, they call me, but they always call me, and it's like something not so good. And I wouldn't say necessarily bad news or something bad that they're going through in their life, like something devastating, but it's just not on that pleasant of a note where if I just thought about you today, I could pick up the phone and say, hey, is everything okay? And we might be talking about, just like funny, laughing, great things. It's more so of them calling me and telling me like something that they're going through, or it's a situation, or, they need some prayer, or they just need somebody to talk to. And it's like, that's cool, because I'm glad that you thought enough of me to call me when you are going through times of need. But I just think that it's important, and I want to be very intentional in picking up the phone when I'm thinking about people, and not just talking to people when I'm needed, but just saying hello, how are you? We talked about it a couple of shows ago, where I was sending out cards, good mail, as you called it.
Right.
And I want to do that more often, not even just sending out cards, but just when I'm thinking about people, because I think about a lot of my friends or even just family members or whatever, and life gets ahead of you, and I don't get a chance, and then how I am with my short-term memory, honey. I thought about it at 11. By 11:15, my mind is, I don't know what I'm thinking about, because I don't even remember what I did at 11. It was 15 minutes ago, but so I just want to be intentional in reaching out to people, letting people know that I'm thinking about them, and that's where I'm at with it this week. Yeah. Like I said, it just comes to me like a light bulb.
I mean, that's really good. I really did appreciate the good mail you sent me, and I mean, I will tell you, like you already know because you do pick out like the best cards. Like you must just be in Hallmark for like ever and just read every card and get the. I know because you had like it's so perfect for the situation, like every single time, like spot on. And it really is a gift. And I appreciate it. And I think that's great. And I think that's why I kind of like good mail better than like phone calls because like at work I'm on the phone a lot, and then the people that I have to talk to, it's like I kind of usually have to talk to them. So that's why I like to send the good mail. Like I know I don't talk to you often, and I might not even see you as much as I want to, but I just want you to know, like, boom, clear out the blue. Like, I am thinking of you, like, all the time. Don't worry, you know. So I think that's very nice. And, you know, I'm all for that good, mushy stuff anyway. I'm all for niceties.
And I'm trying to get there. Not that I mean, but, you know. Go ahead.
So speaking of niceties, on my vision board, my name is, like, in the middle, and it's, like, bedazzled. Like, my whole name is bedazzled. And it shines. And this week, I'm taking a leadership course, and I asked someone that I don't work with her directly, but we work for the same organization. And it's just somebody like, you know, I kind of met her a couple times, and I kind of like her leadership style or whatever. So I don't know what possessed me to ask her, but I asked her if she would be my preceptor through this leadership course.
Okay.
And you know how things are at my job, very, very hostile. I work in a very, very hostile situation. It's crazy. I mean, like literally crazy. And, you know, the old Bibbi would have just left because I don't have time for the nonsense. But I really believe that the Lord is doing a work in me, and it's just not formed. I just have not been released, and I've already gotten a vision that you know, some people were leaving like with their boxes in their hand, kind of like a walk of shame, and I was the only one still there of a certain amount of people that I associate with at work. Everybody else had left. And they miss these people who cause the ruckus all the time to make the situation hostile. They miss them taking the walk of shame. And so far, three of the 6 have already left, and the 4th one is about to leave because she just got a job offer and she's going to take it. It's a job she wants. So it's really getting there. So anyway, this leadership course and this person, my preceptor, is really, I know my leadership style, but she's showing me how to play in the good old boy club. And it just goes to show, like, I don't care. I've worked in HIV. I worked in the same arena for over 30 years, and there's always something to learn. There's always room for growth. There's always, right, and I've never worked in a situation like this, and I think it's absolutely crazy, but she keeps telling me, like, every week when we meet, and I'll explain something, and she'll be like, you know, be direct, be to the point, you know, get out your feelings. Don't worry about this. Don't take this personal. Don't get angry. Make sure all the people are at the table, whatever. And when I tell you things are shifting, it is like amazing. And when I looked yesterday, I was like, my name is Shines. And so we had like a meeting, and people just, I mean, like people that are like not even in my office, don't know me, nothing. We're like, oh, you're Bibbi. Da 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 da. We heard this, we heard that, we heard this, and then the other people are like looking like, what? Right? You know, like what's going on? And I was like, you know, so it doesn't matter how old you are. You can always learn new things. And, you know, don't be afraid to look for, and mentors don't have to be lifelong. They can be situational, you know. So I really appreciate my mentor, and I have about 7 or 8 weeks more to go with her. And and it's Women's History Month, and I feel like this is like history in my own right, because the things that I go through is just like absolutely crazy. I couldn't even describe it if I wanted to. It's nuts. So that's my. A lot of people are, they're leaving, but I have the spirit of David. Like, I really feel like, who do you think you are, you uncircumcised Philistine? If you think you're going to come and do something to me, you got another thought coming. I'm telling you, people, listen, you got to read the word, because the Psalms are not all full of praises. David be like, Lord, you see my enemies, kill them all. And the Lord answers his prayer. So, you really have to know. So, and that's my personal journal this week. In whatever situation you're in, shine. Yeah. Like, I took a lot of hits, and I ain't gonna lie. I may have behaved a little unseemingly a little bit, and did little things that were like outside of my character. If I could possibly hate somebody, I would hate this one specific person at my job. I don't think I'm capable of hating. I thank God for that. But I dislike them very strongly. I mean, if he was on fire and I had some water, I'd drink it probably. But I don't hate him. You know what I mean? But
I'll let him burn, but I don't hate him.
I mean, what's one bottle of water going to do on a big old fire? But anyway, so that's my personal journal. I just, in whatever you're going through, keep shining. Be true to yourself. And so that's my personal journal. I'm really happy about that.
I love it. I mean, listen, nothing wraps up the podcast more than let your light shine and you shine. Nothing wraps up the podcast more than that. I think that it's wonderful. In closing out, listen, have to talk, people. Have to talk. Let your light shine. Be intentional about reaching out to people who who are on your mind. And we're going to get out of here for this week. Listen, remember, follow the podcast. We are on all social media sites. We are on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at We Did That Shit. It's one word. Again, we're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at We Did That Shit. Follow us, subscribe to the podcast, share, like, comment. We really need you to leave us some comments, to like the podcast, to subscribe to the podcast, and share the podcast. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell some kin that we need you to listen to this podcast. Send all of your questions that you have. Are you having a talk? Are you letting your light shine? Are you being intentional? Send us anything that you have. Are you liking the show? Are you not liking the show? Got something you want us to talk about? Get any comments that you want to leave? Send us your emails to wedidthatshit@gmail.com. Again, it's one word. It's wedidthatshit@gmail.com. I can be reached on Twitter at MyMy13. That's MYMY13.
And I'm at Bibiamina. That's BIBBIAMINA.
And remember, you can listen to us on all podcast host sites. You can listen to us on Google Play. You can listen to us on iTunes, YouTube, Castbox, Stitcher, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts.
Remember, be great this week. Do that shit.
We Did That Shit podcast is produced and edited by Selena Singleton and brought to you by Wonderful Me Media. Wonderful Me Media. What's wonderful about you?